Incredible. But okay, we were talking about RB versus. Ow. Am I getting old? Do they just random things on my body just start hurting when I snap my fingers? We were talking about RB's Urien versus Alex Myers' Cammy. And we talked a lot, and it wasn't even the first round. So let's see. I think we were talking about block strings with Cammy or crouching strong. We were talking about Urien's crouching short, how it's his least total active frame move. He dashed up, did it. Cammy did a cannon spike. It went over him. Let's see where we're at now. And we were watching in half the speed. I kind of like that. I'm down with that. I'm cool with it. Round 2. Load up the YouTube video. Alright, air to air. We got, I couldn't even see the name. It started with a W. Let me get my phone so I can read these names off. Winsets, thank you for the follow, man. Welcome to the lab. So, RB jumps away from Cammy, and this is a more reliable way for most characters when you're unsure of the angle that Cammy is in the air or what kind of angle of attack where she's gonna jump if she wants to jump. If you're totally uncertain and you see her going to the air, if you're not sure, you can jump back, and typically it's pretty safe. Who's that? Eonart? Thanks for the follow, man. Welcome to the lab. So jumping back here may not punish it optimally, but it avoids the situation and gives you more time to assess what kind of opponent, what mood they might be in, and how they're going to approach getting to you. So that's a good jump back there. Headbutt here, I get the idea, because if Cammy were to do her standing forward, it would collide, and he could win, but this is one of the things that I told Justin. Urien's headbutts are not as good as they might seem. He's been doing this loop. And it definitely, yes, my advice definitely helped out Justin a lot. And this is a prime example because RB tried this against Justin in the beginning stages of their match. And we'll go over that when we're watching his matches. But Urien's headbutt is only +1 on hit. Bada bing, bada boom. That is Cammy's frame data. So I was actually kind of interested. I was like, it seems like it might be something that's useful. Maybe I can use this this whole idea of hitting somebody with the headbutt and then headbutting them again. Because obviously if they try to throw, I'm in the air. I'm in an airborne state. You cannot throw somebody if they're airborne. So I was looking at it. I was like, maybe there's something to this. If they try to jump back OS, it might hit them as well. But all of Urien's headbutts, his light punch and his medium punch are +1 on hit. And this isn't good enough. This isn't good enough for a throw tick. It's not good enough for a frame trap against characters with 3 frame normals. It's actually bad. So this was something he was getting away with that was actually gimmicky against characters who have a 3 frame normal. And you'll see in the beginning stages of his match against Justin, he does a headbutt and Justin immediately crouching jabs. And this is a direct result because I told him if you're +1 on hit and if they're at a +1 on hit state, they can't grab you. If he does another headbutt, you'll either avoid it or counter it. And then I tested it for sure. It will counter hit the headbutt. So at worst, he's gonna trade a 3 frame normal with Urien, and maybe, possibly, and I don't know the math off the top of my head. Maybe Urien can EX headbutt after he headbutts. That is crazy. That is crazy to do that. And we got Piano Densetsu. Thank you. Welcome to the lab. But yeah, the headbutt thing isn't real at all. And that was... I actually made a recording, but what I'm talking about, just so you get a visual, is this here. This whole idea. No good. It's not good. It looks cool. In theory, it's pretty cool, but you can always be crouch jabbed. Or always be 3 framed in return. So bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so he punishes the headbutt with low forward. And this is good because he's already in a crouching state with Cammy. So low forward. Crouching in itself will avoid the headbutt. And the low forward will also avoid the headbutt. So he punishes it with that. That's good. Standard Cammy pressure. Crouching jab. Crouching forward, I think that is a 7 frame window. Crouching jab +1. Crouching forward, 8 startup. So this is okay. Because even, oh wow, that is insane. More headbutt. So when I first started playing Urien, I did notice just how good this is as a move. This fierce headbutt covers so much ground, like much more than you expect. From downtown, really. And let's look at the startup. Startup on headbutts, 8, 11, 13. That's not bad at all. That's really good for how much ground it covers. But also, you can be punished for if the opponent is simply crouching. So, what this does, it can create a state of your opponent feeling that they must crouch block in mid-range. So if you at least try it, then they have something to be mindful of when they're in the mid-range, rather than just you're standing forward and you're crouching forward. So using these headbutts are risky, but it does condition your opponent to something, and it also helps you avoid the situation where you're trying to anti-air because you're close to them. If they were to have jumped at the same part, you would have hit them on the way up to their jump, or you would have avoided the jump in. So the answer to the opponent is to wait and just crouch. But if they do that, then you can play your mid-range game a little bit better. So while it's risky, it does set a good precedent for the footsie game. So same idea here, crouching jab, standing strong. This is a 5 frame gap. Standing strong being a 6 startup. Standing strong is very, very good. He should actually be using this a lot more. This move has his most frame advantage out of all of Urien's normals. The only problem with standing strong is that it leaves you out of throw range, and you're not. You have to walk up. And you actually can't walk up to them without being 3 framed. But since you have frame advantage, you can counter hit them. So that's something that was missing from RB's game. That is quite good, and the same idea applies with another standing strong. This move is very, very good. If they're crouching, this will work. That other crouching strong. But if they're standing, it'll be too far away. Their hurt box won't be fat enough, so you won't be able to hit them. Let me look at some of these questions. They're scared to give Urien a specialist plus on hit. Well, EX Fireball into Aegis is plus. EX Violence Knee Drop. This is always plus. Always plus, no matter how it hits. It can be plus. It can be upwards of plus of a lot. But his knees, by themselves, we looked at this the other day. At best, they can be +2, and that's okay. That's all right. And the tool assisted chart here actually gives you everything you need to know. We got the Avarice. Welcome to the lab, man. Appreciate the follow. So this is +2. Everything else is below that except for EX. EX can be a maximum of +6, but it's very, very difficult to even get this +2. So as a general rule of thumb, EX knees, the knees, they can be safe, but as far as getting advantage, it's very difficult. So what were we talking about? EX is unsafe on block. What? Oh, and also EX Metallic Spheres. He actually has a lot of good special moves. To be quite frankly with you. Oh, you said plus on hit. Yeah. Fair enough. They either knock down or that's very plus on hit because they're on the ground. People think Urien is safer than he actually is. Most people don't know 6 MP is minus. Yeah, that's something I told Justin as well. This is -2 on block. It can crush counter 3 frames, as you can see here. However, it's only, 72 points of damage if it hits like that. That's not a whole lot. So it's only dangerous if he does have Aegis. In this case, it's good to block high. But in other cases, it's not so bad to take the risk and try to use the -2 that it typically has, the Torch Strong. RB has a couple of gimmicks, like that headbutt tech blow up was weird. Yeah. He definitely has some gimmicks, but you can't really knock him for it if it's working. And people don't know any better, so more props to him. He can do that. RB hardly ever anti-air, really weird. Yeah. He played aggro, so he wouldn't have to even deal with that situation. So rather than having to carefully space and be like, okay, if Cammy's about right here, I can use Torch Strong. If she's this close, I'll be standing right. That takes a lot of focus and a lot of attention away from your mid-range. And Urien does have great mid-range, which also keeps people out of the jump angles that would be a problem. But his approach instead was to first to first dominate the mid-range with his low forward and his standing forward, and then dash in behind those. So that this is completely avoiding the anti-air situation. I'm pretty sure he reacted to the jump backs. Yeah, he did. He got a few. He did get a few jump back OSs with hard punch headbutt. And that is something you can do. So if you try to walk up and throw them, if you hold a down charge, you'll have the charge in time to catch their jump back with the headbutt. And that's really good because you can actually super off of that. And if it juggles high enough, you can use tackle, reflector, etc. Yep. RB follows me on Twitter. It's he uses this was like 50% all my urine. So I mean, I felt like I had to do my country right and shovel all the right information to Justin, and he did a really good job of being Justin Wong and applying what I was telling him. So yeah, I'm really happy that it turned out. I'm glad he got as far as he did. But I would have felt awful if he beat like all the American players in the process. So this is good. But much respect for making it that far. Like that takes a lot of balls to play this character so early, to fly out outside of your country and pick him. It's not easy. So yeah, right now we don't see anything except Urien has 1 bar. If he had V-trigger, that would have made me understand a little bit better why he was going for the low forward. And yes, I will confirm that I had a long. If you look at the, I'll give you an idea just how much information I sent to Justin. Not like I'm bragging. Oh, I know Justin, blah blah blah. But no, I've known him for a long time. We're not close friends or anything like that. But okay, here's our conversation. You ready for me to scroll up? All the blue is me. I took videos too. So I definitely helped him out a lot with that aspect. I'm getting hot. Okay. So that was a very slight shimmy there. Very slight shimmy. I hate saying that word. Low forward -2. So Alex could be challenging him after that. He was in range to actually hit his crouching strong. A low forward from himself. Standing forward from Cammy. And there's not a whole lot Urien can do while he's at a -2 state. Can you link the playlist you're watching from? Missed half of the matches. Yeah, sure. And we got Fit Teddy Bear. Is that what that said? Fit Teddy Bear. Welcome to the lab, man. I appreciate it. And I think I got the Avarice as well. But yeah, maybe a little bit of unfamiliarity with the Urien matchup as far as experience. Sometimes it takes a lot of... You might know what to do in certain situations, but you might just not have done it or practiced it enough. It's not ingrained in your muscle memory, and you don't have the visual cues down yet. So there's a lot of situations here on both sides. Ecotope, appreciate it, man. Welcome to the lab. So that torch strong here had to be in anticipation. You can definitely beat Cammy before she even gets in the air to do her dive kick. So you'll counter hit her, she'll lose the meter, and you prevent her, you stop her from trying. You force her to stay on the ground, and then that prevents her from even going up further into the air than you have to have trouble anti-airing her with Urien. So he tries to challenge her crouching strong, not a good idea. Wow, that seemed like a punish on the backdash. I think that's what he tried to do. I don't think it actually punishes backdash, but I think his idea was to do that. We got Vagabond. T.I. Vagabond? T.I. Is there like a word missing in that underscore? T.I. Vagabondate. Welcome to the lab. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So nonetheless, he hits him because he thought he backdashed. He tried to punish it, but he gets the knockdown. He follows up with the crushing jab, I think it was, and then he goes up for a throw. RB, EXHB, tackle. Now you see, there's a difference. You can actually there's actually 3 options, well 4 options that I know of after EX tackle. Excuse me, EX headbutt. EX headbutt. You can do standing fierce as he have done. He did that quite often, and I talked about this last year earlier today. And light kick tackle. Light kick tackle and Torch Strong do the exact same damage. And there's benefits to each of these. Fort Strong will give you a guaranteed reset. You know that they're going to be on the ground at a certain time. The Leo Hall, appreciate it. Phantom No. I know you followed already. I know you're already in there. So Light Kick Tackle gives you more space. So if you're in the corner, I would recommend Light Kick Tackle. Because if you do Standing Fierce, you'll get more damage, but you'll still be close to the corner. But it may be the case that that's fine. This might kill them. That might be the killing blow. In that situation, absolutely. But if you're in the corner, I definitely recommend Light Kick Tackle or EX Tackle if you want the damage and corner carry, but this is costly towards your meter. The other option here, which is very interesting, and what he could have done had he known, is to whiff a headbutt. You don't hit them, but you cross sides and Standing Fierce. Now this actually hits meaty. If they do a 3-frame normal as they get up, the Standing Fierce will hit them. And actually I have not tested this against back recovery. But the idea here, let's see, I'm very curious. I'm curious for my own sake here. Okay. Oh, that is really good. That's really good. So I think it's time so that it'll hit both of them. That's excellent. Okay, no, actually, it's not perfectly meaty. You have to delay it a few frames for both knockdowns. But this switches sides, and that's very important. And we got somebody else. I think I saw somebody else follow this. Curatagum. Welcome, man. Appreciate it. So that's EX Headbutt. Now, this is something that's very interesting, and probably something that I don't use enough. Urien's back roundhouse definitely does push him backwards. Let's see how he sets this up. Crouching short, charges the roundhouse, and Alex falls for it perfectly. Perfectly. Now this setup is very, very prone to be counter hit. Very prone to be counter hit. If it's hitting back recovery, that's not hitting quick rise on 3rd frame meaties. It can. What's going on automatic? Because there is a 5-frame window between normal and back, but you only have to hit them on the 3rd frame of their normal recovery. So actually, it's between those 3 or 4, like you say. Actually, you're right. I think I can. No, you're right. Back to the match. So the back roundhouse. This is actually great. Yeah, because if you charge the roundhouse, it gives you the perfect timing to punish the whiff throw. Now, whereas you might think this one would be better because it's faster, it's still fine because this actually has the correct timing to punish them for doing that. Now, the issue with this here is it is another thing that is somewhat gimmicky. He could actually be getting matched on much more frequently than people might expect. And honestly, he was not using standing jab to frame trap people enough. So, for sure, people could have matched jab a lot more. As you can see here, if I try to do the same roundhouse, it's never going to work. And the same is true for... The exact same thing is true for many of Urien's light attacks, anything that he has frame advantage, because they're only +1. Like crouching jab is +1, so I get trades. Crouching short, +1, so I get trades. What else? Standing short is an exception. Standing short and standing light, those are what you should be using to get frame traps off of your light attacks. This is actually the frame trap that I would, if I were a Urien player, I am. If you were a Urien player, you should definitely know how to do this. And that also ties into the V reversal option select that I discovered early on into the phases of Urien. So what you do here, and I don't mean to get too far off into what I'm trying to analyze here, but notice that I also input the throw while I do this chain combo. Now this actually doesn't apply for Cammy because her V reversal she goes behind you. But if the V reversal comes out, I will get a throw instead of my target combo, and I'll throw them. Unless they have a 10-frame V reversal, so Chun-Li, Ken, and Zangief. I can't throw them. But anybody else who has a V reversal, and Cammy, because she goes on the other side, which I can actually punish in other ways, then I will throw them out of the V reversal or get the target combo if it hits them, and then I can hit them from there. So that means that. Getting a lot of follows today, man. Appreciate y'all. The Black Sun Goku, Mr. Jack Mayhem, Gwynny Cholas 2000. Welcome to the lab, guys. Appreciate it. So let me get through at least half of this match, and we're just gonna go over interesting stuff because I'll be here all night. Obvious, Street Fighter V wake up DP, very good. Now that he could have actually answered with Torch Strong, but you just don't know. Sometimes you don't see in the you don't see in the moment, and you don't want to risk. You don't want to risk either trading or losing to the jump in. So sometimes you just gotta let it go. That's fine. A little bit of a stare down. He walks out of the low forward range. That's good. Now Cammy does have V trigger, so what Urien really has to be careful of is the crouching fierce from Cammy. Well, that might explain why he's a little bit hesitant on the mid range. Alright, Huey P. Newton. I think I got Mr. Jack Mayhem. Travel Llama. Appreciate it. Welcome to the lab. Crouching fierce. Excuse me, crouching forward. More patience from RB here. See, he's just avoiding the crouching fierce from Cammy. In my opinion, that's it. Do you ever post your findings on a wiki, or is it all on Twitter? Right now it's all on Twitter, but I have to migrate all of my content onto YouTube. It's very important. RB was using the headbutt to blow up text, like we said, but isn't it better to use the jab too strong to blow up text? Then you get Oki plus combo. Yes, it is. That's about all there is to it. But if your opponent doesn't know any better and you're getting away with it, and you're getting more damage, more stun, and you're making them rethink, they don't have a solution for it in the moment, that's fine. Cool. I need to do more things like that seem like they're dangerous, but they're actually kind of gimmicky. I have to identify that my opponent doesn't know any better. And if it gives me some edge, like a good point on that is some of RB's reflector combos were not exactly optimal, but they were so foreign that they allowed him to score a hit. So, whatever. Good. It hit them. Casarino, welcome to the lab, man. Appreciate it. So, again, he's using the stand strong as a whiff punish. I can't remember what normal that was. But he's safely approaching footsies now. Very safely. Because Cammy has this V-trigger active, or available. Crouching Fierce, activate, and that's what he does not want to get hit by Cammy. Very safe. From right here, he's threatening fireballs. He's being very mindful of the air. Cammy has meter, EX dive kicks, so he's just very patiently just watching and observing what Cammy wants to do here. Now, since he's established this for like the past 5 or 6, 7, 8 seconds that he's playing defensive, he's just being very, in a whiff punish proactive mindset. Since he has established this, now he is able to dash up because Myers is at a point where he is now analyzing what RB wants to do. And he uses that lull in the action to sneak in a dash up grab. That's very good. Pearl River Plunge. So that Standing Fierce is meaty, it loses to the DP. And that was a back throw. When Urien back throws, he's closer to his opponent. If he forward throws, Standing Fierce won't even hit anything that they might hit. But if you back throw and they hit a standing jab or anything, that will actually contact a crush counter. Damage. V meter. Position. Crush counter fierce is ridiculous with Urien. Again, crouching short for Urien. 4 frames. Fastest move. Fastest total active move that he has. Or at least total active frames. Karabsgaren. Crabs again. Thank you for the follow, man. Welcome to the lab. Appreciate it. So there's that EX dive. It's blocked, which is fine. It didn't look like it was high enough for him to actually V reversal. You can V reversal punish EX dive kicks if they hit high enough, like more towards his head. They will punish. It will punish them. And if it hits them mid range, it will prevent her from. It would prevent her from maintaining applying pressure. But at this point in the round, RB is about a little bit less than half health. His V trigger is about to pop, so it's not really necessary for him to like. If it's more rewarding if he is able to escape this pressure. Cammy is low on health. Actually, maybe not. Considering that Cammy is so low on health, it might have been a good idea to V reversal here because the next decision would have killed her. But the point I'm trying to make is he's so close to having the Aegis, which is a very powerful tool, that it's not always. It's a tough decision to make whether it's worth it to V reversal. But I mean, in the heat of the moment, you might not even see it. So that's good too. Air to air jump back forward. This is okay. I'm not sure how fast jump back forward is, but the hitbox on it is pretty good. So if you're preemptively jumping just to escape a situation, to escape a throw, jump back forward is great. If you're reacting, if you're responding to a jump and you feel like your toward strong is too fast, or excuse me, too slow, your back roundhouse will come out too late, jump back jab is the most consistent air to air normal you can have. But in this situation, jump back forward is pretty much the perfect button to hit. But I don't know about this EX tackle. He was way too far away. Maybe if he was mid-range, then it would have been something that would have guaranteed contact. But if Myers were to have neutral jump here after he was reset, then he could have punished him on the way down. So this EX tackle feels a bit desperate to me. But sometimes the EX tackles are fine. You can just do them. Because they're safe on block, it's ridiculous. Fatality 93 RUS, Dead Richard, Giao. Appreciate the follows. Welcome to the lab. I should wear my glasses. So this was a very mid-range kind of scramble. Am I gonna update my Hugo tier list anytime soon? I don't know, man. It seems pretty legit to me. So this mid-range scramble happens. This is actually, I feel, very intelligent by Myers, because he safely approaches his opponent that's far away in a situation where both players can be uncertain of where they're really at in terms of have they recovered yet? What does he want to do? That sort of thing. So he does a very high dive kick in this situation. So from the point of him leaving the ground up to here, it gives him time to confirm where his opponent's at, and this gives him a little bit of guaranteed advantage. It was very unlikely that RB would be prepared for this. I mean, at best, he could have EX headbutted from this position. But it's hard. FGC Drizzy, appreciate it, man. Welcome to the lab. So he goes for the jab reset. I agree. The jab reset will allow him to apply pressure with a dash here. If he did a standing fierce, it would have done a little bit more damage. DP probably would have done the most. But since he is at a point in the match where he can't keep on pressing the mid range because he's so low on health, and Urien has the tools to challenge the mid range, so any of the pokes become lethal damage. Aegis Reflector and You, Chapter 1. I should do these kinds of streams more often. It seems like it's being very well received, so I appreciate it. Welcome everybody who's new. So that was, it looked like RB threw him after the jab. Was it a tick? No, he just straight up jumps. That's that Street Fighter 4 6.5 right there. You had to guess. Now this seemed like it might have been a decent decision, like a safe risk involved, but the neutral jump here, and Cammy has V-trigger again. Wake up Aegis. So he's already committed to a button. He's already committed to a button before Urien does Aegis. Now, if you are at a state, if Urien does Aegis while he wakes up and you do nothing and you're on top of him, you can throw him every time. You don't have to immediately throw him. You can throw him after the flash. And in fact, if Urien does wake up Aegis close to him and you're in the middle of the screen, just not outside of the corner, if he does wake up Aegis, you can dash towards him. It'll take you out of the Aegis, and then you can punish his recovery while he has his hands in the air. I can't speak for anyone else, but I love content like this. Great, awesome. So here, if he just waited, he could have dashed up and punished as long as he's not too close to the corner. And I think this range is fine. He could have dashed up and then punished him. But what's tricky is that he could have been pushed back into the reflector. If he did standing fierce, cannon spike, the DP, it's possible that he would have flew back into the reflector, and then Urien would have been able to recover. He wouldn't have had a follow up, etc. But here, Urien can actually follow up. It hit her twice, so he can actually torch strong or crouching strong EX tackle. You can actually combo off of the close reflector. But it all depends on how you get hit, and it depends on if you recover or not. What hits you? A little something like that. 340. But it all changes depending on how much hit stun you're put in. So in this position, it's very difficult for Myers to get past this reflector. Because if he EX cannon spikes, he'll go through it, but that's not enough. Or excuse me, if he just, damn, what's that move called that Cammy does? Cannon drill, right? He can go forward, he can go through it. But this is if, you would only want to do this if Urien throws the metallic sphere. So from right here, he could. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. So Myers is aware that if he throws a fireball, he can punish him with the V-trigger cannon drill. Spiral arrow, thank you. He can punish that. But RB recognizes that that's exactly what he's looking for, so he dashes up immediately with no hesitation, crouching forward, and he probably reflectors after this. So this is something I told Justin to not let him get away with. If you do a normal into the second reflector, and I'll prove this right now. Will this be stream uploaded to YouTube later? I can do that. Yeah, I'll upload the archive to YouTube, but I feel like it's gonna be pretty long. I'm gonna be doing this for a while. This is just the first match, and it just depends on how long everybody's interested. But I think for sure I need to do Tokido's match where he loses, and then Justin Wong his first match, and then I'll have to go back to the archives for that. But if there's any other match that people want to look in specifically, we can do that as well. But I'm gonna set Cammy back to the second reflector idea. I'm gonna set Cammy to wake up or reversal guard 3-frame, and I'm gonna put my timer on infinite. So I'm gonna do low forward trigger. This is punishable. This is punishable by Karen's standing roundhouse if I hit her. It's so bad. It's not good. This is definitely not good to do. But if you are far, actually, to tell you what's good to do is to fireball and then reflector. Then you have advantage. If you have advantage for it. Actually, you have too much advantage here. Much better. But any normal you buffer this off of, you do not have advantage. You can be punished for doing this. So, yeah. This right here that he just did to Myers is not real. But again, it goes to the idea that if he doesn't know any better, then I'm going to do it and I can get away with it. It would have been better for him to whiff punish with EX tackle, to do what I just showed you here with the metallic sphere. That's much better. But I mean, he saves meter doing it this way. It's unsafe, but there it is. One above all AD. I just saw another one on the stream. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for following. Hope you learned something. So he sets it up as a throw. It's definitely enough to kill. And just as an info note, this here, this definitely has advantage. Just reset here. For sure, you have advantage. But if you have the first reflector out, shit, need to put on guard. I'm autopiloting a little bit. So here, if he does this into the torch strong, and then this reflector here, you can punish him for it. And Ricky Ortiz did just that. And I have a feeling that Justin Wong was like, hey man, look at my phone. Jibbo sent me all this info. So bada bing, bada boom. Do you think Justin would have won without your texts? Yes, I do. I think he would have won still. Not as convincingly, but I definitely for sure Justin would have won. I don't think he needed my help. Let's see. I feel like I missed a question about the startup. The startup for V-trigger. So close is 10, far away is 5. I'm talking about startup, and up is 15. But regardless of the startup, they will always come out. So what you can actually do is use the forward one as a whiff punish. It's crazy. So let's say Cammy whiffs on normal while she's at this range. She does her standing forward. And I activate V-trigger. You can punish her for doing that. You can actually use it as a footsie tool. It's crazy. We'll get back to the match. So he does that throw the kid to seal the match. No big deal. A lot of people were getting thrown off of resets. It was crazy to me. Actually, I feel like watching this at half speed is much better to analyze it. So that tackle could have been unsafe if he blocked. The tackle was +1 on hit if those jabs traded. So I don't recommend doing those. This right here, this headbutt is exactly what I've been talking about. The headbutts mid-range aren't that great. You can crouch, they'll whiff, you can block. They're -2 if you block, they're only +1 if they hit. But it caught him trying to jump, so this conditions my opponent that they need to either stay at a crouching state while they're mid-range, which allows me then to apply pressure in other ways. So this is the result of the headbutts working in a way that they should be intended to. I don't know, who knows, maybe he's just doing them and then stuff's happening. But this is the way that I see them actually working. Low 4 is -2, cannon spike, that's good. So now he's actually using the advantage that he has off the back end of that -2 crouching forward. So good for Myers. This dive kick should have frame advantage. So that was an obvious throw bait attempt. RB is just walking away. And in this situation, Myers could just clip him right into Stacey Adams. No problem. But that's harder to confirm. So after that lull in action, RB has plenty of meter to spare. So he can use he can do this kind of thing. EX tackle. It's fine, it's safe. If he were to jump, it would catch him on his way up. If he's trying to advance forward, if he tries to dash in and get sneaky with the standing mid kick with Cammy, crouching mid kick, this would also hit his dash in and potentially the startup of his normal. So this isn't bad to just throw out like this when he has an excessive amounts of meter. And honestly, in my opinion, it's so easy to get supers in this game that when I have meter, I usually, especially at the beginning of the round, I'll just throw a metallic sphere out just so I don't have super and just so it doesn't happen on accident. That happens to me way too often. It's so easy to do super. So the EX chariot tackle hits. That looked very much like a meaty toward medium punch. And toward medium punch, again, is -2 on block. But if you hit it meaty, let's take a look. We're looking at 6 MP. I'm actually looking at my number pad on my keyboard because I keep forgetting. So we have 6 MP. 4 active frames. So that means at best it can be +2 on block, if he times it that well. Actually, I'm not sure if this setup here actually gives you the meaty timing off of a... No, I don't think that's it. I think he just timed it manually. Wait, how does super happen accidentally? I'll explain this briefly. So a player like myself, in order to execute moves as quickly as possible, I will buffer them. I will buffer them before I feel like there's the right time. So I eliminate the time it takes for me to actually execute it, and I prepare it. So I'll do this motion here in preparation. Did they jump? No. Okay, then I'll do my fireball. But sometimes I'll prep it too fast, and then I'll get a super. So you have to be very mindful. You have to be. It's like the easy inputs are doing the opposite of their job. It's making it more difficult for me to throw fireballs because I have to be mindful of the amount of buffering it takes to do a super. So if I do a fireball motion, I have to wait for that to expire so I won't get another fireball and it's a super. It's really easy to implement it. Again, all of these strings can be interrupted by 3-frame normals because they're only +1. Crouching short, crouching jab. Crouching jab to low forward is 7. 7-frame window doesn't work. But there's always a chance that RB could stagger his normals, make your normal whiff, and then punish the recovery. And to give you an example of this really briefly, I'm gonna set Cammy to wake up with jab again. Crouching jab. Now here's my crouching strong. My crouching strong is even. Notice how the crouching jab hits me. Now this shouldn't work because mathematically it doesn't. My crouching strong is even on block. My standing forward is 5 frames of startup. Her crouching jab is 3. So you would think that her crouching jab would hit me on the 3rd frame of my standing short. Counter hit me. But I'm too far. You can see as I'm standing, I don't even get hit by that jab. When I'm crouching, my hurt box is fatter. So when I hit standing short, it additionally moves me backward. So it punishes the recovery of her crouching jab. And off of this, I can get a tackle. Off a tackle, I can get ages, so on and so forth. Which characters does the work on? I don't know. Which characters does do the work on? So he does a violence knee drop up here. So the problem with violence knee drop for the opponent is they don't know which direction you're going. Blocking it is not a problem. As long as you know it's an overhead. You have to block it high. Simdat, appreciate it, man. Welcome to the lab. Blocking it isn't a problem, but if you don't know where they're going to land, it may cause some hesitation. And with the inexperience of his opponents, he can get away with whiffing these just to see, like, is he going to DP me for doing this? And you may not even recognize it. You may think he was jumping at you. And so the angle is going to change mentally. Do you actually hit confirm off standing short though? It's so fast. You don't have to. As the Orphan Crippler mentioned, it's safe, so you don't have to hit confirm it. You do not have to. What's going on, doggy sandwich? Looked like you had a good time. I saw the pizza. I saw the pizza on the Twitter, man. We got a lot of followers. I appreciate y'all. We got Monty Fury, Tuba TJ, Rockman, ZX Omega. Welcome to the lab. So he does violence knee drop. Now you can see Myers buffering for anything. He probably doesn't even, I bet he doesn't even know what he's looking for. Probably a fireball. He was probably buffering. This is exactly what I was just mentioning earlier about accidentally getting a super. If he were to have hit a kick button while he was buffering that much, he would have gotten super instead of a spiral arrow. Neutral jump roundhouse. So there's the sphere. This is mentally, this is like a, it does damage to your mental like guard. When you throw a fireball here, when Urien throws a fireball, knowing that his opponent could punish him for it, it hurts you mentally. Like, oh man, I should have saw that. So in turn, you could say, now I have to look harder for the fireball, and as a result, that'll make you look less for footsies. So this kind of fireball, while risky, it does a little bit of mental damage to your opponent. Because he probably saw that Myers was buffering for a spiral arrow earlier, and then once he saw that neutral jump, he was like, okay, he's not looking for it now. I need to get him back to looking for my metallic sphere. And now he's able to, oh, that's interesting right there. Now he's able to play the mid-range. But Myers immediately goes on the offensive. Pretty good grab. He has to do that. He's not doing that enough. Pressuring him with throws. Urien is very difficult. Now, I don't know about this back dash. That, to me, screams unfamiliarity. There's a tackle that helps him get out the corner. He does not have V-trigger yet. He goes for a crouching short. That's a manual timing. Manual timing is so difficult to do in this game. So he trades with Cammy's 3-frame with the crouching short. There's that headbutt. It actually gets punished. So this is a bit of a miscommunication of ideas between both players. RB is throwing the headbutts and almost haphazardly. He's wanting to catch her on the way up or to hit the mid-range pokes. But Myers is doing exactly that. He's jumping, but it's too far away. If he did the fierce headbutt, it might have actually contacted. So he's actually close enough to convert. That's good. I need to sleep, but I need to get good. Hey man, go to sleep. There's always going to be archives, and I'm going to upload it to YouTube. And I'm always going to be here. I do live streams almost daily now. And yeah. I've been traveling a lot, going to tournaments. Dep SRKO. Deps RKO. Thanks for the follow, I appreciate it. We got Joey Tones, the Orphan Crippler. Kem Durim 22. Welcome to the lab, appreciate it. So yeah, we'll look at Tokido's match after this. Unless anybody else wants to watch some other matches. We'll look at Tokido's match, and then Justin's match with the advice I gave him. And actually, I want to see Bonchan's match as well. And if y'all want more, then I can continue to do that. I'm just kind of chilling here. It's fine. More than willing to look over this. So that's the difficulty in anti-airing here. So Urien has plenty of anti-airs. Urien has so many anti-airs. The sphere preemptively can anti-air. The sphere anti-airs, you get a V-skill for free. Toward mid-punch. It's a good anti-air. It's got a good box. It's got, but it's not above his head. But standing roundhouse is perfect for that. Standing roundhouse will beat like even Urien, or excuse me, Ryu's jumping short, which is a ridiculous button. Crouching fierce. Crouching fierce. If you anti-airs, you get the you get a bread and butter combo. You get a lot of positioning, and good damage. But this is hard. You have to space this very properly, otherwise it will just lose. So trying to anti-air somebody like Rashid's jumping fierce with Urien's crouching fierce, more often than not, if he does it at the right time, if Rashid uses his jump movement at the right time, your crouching fierce will just lose. So it's hard to assess it. He has plenty of anti-airs, but they're hard to judge in the situations. You're not always prepared for what happens. So that's exactly why I'm describing. These headbutts are interesting to me because a Safo Nation donated $20 for science, man. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Collecting this money into your PayPal. Oh man, it's really nice. Thanks a lot. Oh, that feels good. You know, okay, I won't get too personal, but thank you. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. So that's why I think that RB is using this headbutt, so he avoids these situations altogether. It's good. But this jump roundhouse here, very easily anti-aired by Torch Strong, standing roundhouse. He could have even crouching fierce this because I don't think he did his roundhouse early enough or late enough in the right time. So it's very telling how difficult it is for Urien to anti-air. He could also use headbutt. There's plenty of options. Even Reflector you can anti-air with. So I don't agree with this decision here by Myers to cross up and put himself in the corner, especially when he doesn't have any V reversal available, and Urien has a full tank of gas on his V trigger. So RB creates space. This is a way to safely apply his V trigger. And you bet he's trying to activate it right now. That EX tackle, very telling. Exactly. He goes right into it to keep her in the corner. And that's interesting. So he hit her enough times so that it built the V reversal, and this actually switches positions, and this is really good. So a haphazard decision paid off because now RB doesn't have access to his other reflector. Well, I mean, what I mean is he doesn't have access to his first reflector, which is easy to get advantage off of. His second reflector is much more difficult to do that, and he doesn't have the meter to actually do that. And just to give you a demonstration of what I'm talking about. So he needs meter to do something like this to have advantage to throw that reflector out. Or he has to whiff punish with his tackle and then throw the second reflector out. Which you can do. So say you find something that's laggy, you whiff punish, that combo. That's good. But if you do that and they block, they can punish you for it. That's not something you have advantage. So the fireball option off of the second reflector that's what gives you guaranteed advantage. Wait, you're the one who snitched to Jay Wong? Did I kill the hype? Sorry, man. Sorry. I didn't want the monster that I created to beat Justin. You know what I'm saying? That's rough. Did you see Chris G's Urien? It seemed like he mostly won good facing and spacing rather than setups. Yeah, if you can combine Chris G's Urien with RB's, bam, that's a good Urien. RB lost a lot of rounds because 0 anti-air. I agree. Counted. He did total of 5. You counted. He has solid anti-airs, but his game is terrible. Yeah, that's not just a symptom of RB, but also Urien, and also the experience. I think over time Urien's anti-airs will improve. Not his, but players playing him. But one of the best anti-airs you can have is when you have V-skill. V-skill headbutt is so good. Because you gain almost a full bar from the damage that you absorb. And you have the armor. The armor comes out in frame 3. So this is almost always going to... I don't know a situation where this wouldn't anti-air somebody. That's really good. And not to mention, if you hit your opponent airborne while you headbutt them, you get a juggle state. And you get tons of meter. It's so good. So that's why, if you've seen some of my earlier streams, it's so important to get this V-skill to even sacrifice the bread and butter combos. Just get the V-skill here. Just so you can keep people out of the air. This is much more solid. And you can super as well. I think this one might be too far away. So for example, as I was saying with the Sector, as an anti-air, you can do the headbutt and super. Very, very, very good. Lots of damage there. But again, Urien's anti-airs, he has plenty of them, but they're so hard to execute. So oftentimes it's better to just block so you don't trade. Because a trade could kill you. It's not good. So Myers lets him chill out for a little bit. Did I rewind a lot? No. Oh, that was. I don't know why he did that. So this is one of the things that I like what Urien is doing to the meta. Urien is changing people's awareness. Like they have to be more on the fly, decision based. Because that is something that is ingrained in Cammy players. I'm gonna dive kick here, but there's a reflector in front of him, so it doesn't match. It doesn't match reality. So you have to be a lot more conscious of what's going on the screen. Now this is tough. So that's interesting. That didn't hit him because it crossed up. It hit him because Myers thought he was just jumping at him and he was gonna anti-air. And maybe he meant to even anti-air the dangerous knees. Maybe. But what this setup does is it avoids your opponent. And I'll show you. Just to give you an idea, roundhouse knees will never hit them if they're in the corner. Unless you're like from downtown. From here, it'll hit. But if you're even like half court, it won't hit them. Standing, the forward knees might. But even if you're close, if you're this close, standing forward knees, or excuse me, just forward knees won't hit them. So if you always want it to cross up, you do roundhouse knees, and it'll bring them into it. You want it a little bit closer than this. But once you see it enough, it's not that hard to block. What's dangerous about the setup is not the cross up, but it's something that's not in the meta yet. And I'll show you. So they block this, they see the knees, they walk towards. And then the forward knees hit them. The short. Like he used. This would hit them instead. And then you go behind them. But that's some advanced technology that nobody's ready for yet. I haven't even finished fully developing that yet. Not to sound pretentious or anything, but it's going to be a while before I can do that and apply it in a way that's effective to everybody. And actually, that's a good point, Camdarren22. Camdarren. That's a good point. Because if they are able to block it, you then corner yourself. But they're not obligated. I wonder, so there may be a response to this. So say, I don't want to get too deep into this. Say I do knees behind them, they block the reflector, and then they V-reversal. So what that will do is I will get a knockdown, a guaranteed knockdown, because they're going to be on block stun. I will knock them down, and then they're in the corner. But the reflector might still be active, so that could be a problem. That's something we can look at much later. Because like I said, right now the problem is just people not blocking the knees itself. Or excuse me, not blocking the knees pushing into the reflector. So you just walk forward. Let's see. I think we got some new people. I really appreciate the donation, man. That was good. Roman Dog, Q Vitar, Sonic Break, Even Weak Sauce, Ability 651. Thanks for the follows. Welcome to the lab. Appreciate it. Wait, what just happened there? Okay, that was just the situation here. Savage Criminals. Nightscope 2142V. Thanks for the follows. Much appreciated. Welcome to the lab. So RB closes this match out with the cross-up round, the cross-up needs tech. Stolen tech. Didn't he have a different shirt on? That was yesterday. This was the day before. This was yesterday. Today he had on the Steve Austin shirt. The what shirt? Overall, how did I like RB? He played very well. It's very good. Very respectable play. Because he knew. It wasn't all gimmicks. He knew, he recognized when the other person didn't know any better, so he could get away with something that gave him advantage where it shouldn't. So he had a lot of advantage there. And Alex Myers looks very high on Urien Tech right now. Whoa, I can see the stars. I'm kind of interested in seeing what he does at the beginning of the round. Because at the beginning of the round, Urien players would like to do the forward tackle because you'll be in range to make it safe. However, the opponent has time to... They have time to move around, which changes whether it's safe or not. That face. So if they walk forward, which Tokido does in his match against RB, if they walk forward into it and then block, then Urien's forward tackle is unsafe. And that's exactly how that match opened up. What you can also do is walk backwards and then on a whiff, and then you can punish him for doing it. So I wanted to see what he does at the beginning of this round. And he, of course. So Myers actually does walk forward a little bit and blocks. He should have at least advantage. It looks like it punishes. This is not something I don't recommend doing this at all. This is something that Nash players had a habit of doing with their forward Sonic Scythe. They just blindly go into something. And just as they had the timing for that to be safe, my character at the time, Lori, had the timing to crush counter that. So if I hit Roundhouse and they hit Sonic Scythe at the same time, I get a crush counter. So it's better to just wait a little bit and see how your opponent behaves.
I'm number one.
I promise that's not pre-recorded. I didn't know. I know he did that against Tokido, and I know for Urien that's something he can do to have the forward tackle safe. I didn't watch this beforehand. I didn't know. Lucifer 568, Purgatory 096, Dimex. Appreciate the follows, man. Welcome to the lab. Welcome. He called out the flow chart. Take into account that you can't walk back if you hesitate, even slightly, because proximity guard. This is true. So, while Myers was aware that the tackle was unsafe at this point, he didn't see the spacing, so the crouching jab only contacted once. So he would have had to crouching jab and then immediately DP or spiral arrow. His other crouching jab whiffs. And honestly, he probably wasn't even trying to go for that spiral arrow, because if he was wrong, RB could punish him with crouching fierce, so that's no good. What's going on, Neptune Eris? I see you, man. Neptune Eris. So he uses the pressure off of the crouching jabs that he got off of the forward tackle to begin to mount his offense. Can you cover the anti-OS he did too? Oh, it's easy. You just headbutt. If you throw them, they jump back. You can headbutt them. That's really all there is to it. You have enough time. So the reason why you have a headbutt even available is because the charge on headbutt is very, very much. I'll just put it this way: the amount of time it takes to tackle is much more than it is to headbutt. I can't do the same thing with tackles, even if they recover the time. It's very easy to charge those. Yeah, it's not OS, it's just reaction. It is. So Alex Myers mounts his offense off of the back end of that tackle. But again, you will see that this is not exactly optimal play, because optimally he would have blocked the tackle, punished with crouching jab, spiral arrow, and then he would have got a knockdown. And then you see this idea of like very much scrambles. And this is why Street Fighter V is not at a state yet where we can really say that solid or aggressive play is the way to go. Right now it seems like 60% play really defensive, really solid, and then the other 30% go crazy. The other 10%, I don't know, there's something there, but if you look at XXK Samurai, he is 100% solid and defensive. But that's not what's winning in this game yet. I think eventually over time, I hope that's what's the answer. But like you can look in the case of Armika. I don't know why I'm going into this, but it bothers me a little bit. Armika, she tends to be on the 100% crazy side, but NuckleDude plays her with a bit of defense and solid play. So she's like the crazy mixture of everything that works, the way that NuckleDude plays her. But it's hard, man. So standing forward, back roundhouse. This is very much a huge gap in between everything. So this is -2, back roundhouse, I forget, but I know it has a lot of startup. Back roundhouse is 4HK, 15. 15 off of the -2 makes a 17 frame gap in between that, but he's so far away, it's hard to capitalize. And in fact, even if he were to whiff a button, it's possible that the roundhouse would have punished the recovery, just as I described earlier with the crouching strong into the standing short. Same idea. But again, not all these things are, all these footsies aren't defined. Like they're not defined in terms of, if I do this, if he does a standing forward, it's going to punish his whip recovery. And then when I have that, it's not there yet. It's just an idea of, I have mid-range tools, and this has more range than he does. So let's see what happens. They're better. It's not 100% precise yet, but we're getting there. Crouching Fierce, no activation, nothing available to really get anything off of it. Crouching Fierce, I'm not really sure what the advantage is. RB might not know either. Let's take a look. Because he does a Crouching Jab after Cammy does her Crouching Fierce. Let's look at Cammy's Crouching Fierce. It's definitely plus. No, it's even. That's kind of interesting. So I don't think he did this with this in mind. Like, oh, I know Crouching Hard Punch is even. If I do my Crouching Jab, he won't be in range for his 3 frame, and then we'll trade it. No, I think he was just hitting Crouching Jab. I don't think there's anything to explain there. But nonetheless, it counter hits. Maybe she was dashing up or doing anything. That's dashing up or hitting a normal to counter hit. So that's also possible.
I'm number one.
Who's that? Skull Sweat? Appreciate the follow, man. Welcome to the lab. So he does a knees. So this is in anticipation of a mid-range normal once again. So this is the same idea as using the headbutts. Same idea. But in this way, it's a little more susceptible. It's a little more sexable than headbutts because you can anti-air. And you have more time allotted to actually see what's happening. He tries to whip punish. So like I mentioned earlier, it's hard to see what the range, which angle he's coming from. So he couldn't judge it properly. So that Standing Fierce might have been able to have been punished. That's a hard word to say. Successible. I don't know how to say it. Successible. Theo Huxtable. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Okay, so here comes the idea of mid-range dominance from Urien. I'm sure that he's buffering the Standing Strong into tackles in a way that it will only activate the tackle if he hits a normal or if Cammy walks into it. So if you do it from this range and then tackle behind it, you won't get the tackle, which is unsafe. Susceptible. Thanks, man. Nice. There's a Crouching Strong, probably buffering a Fireball behind it. Crouching Short, again, fastest. Total active frames, the least amount of total active frames. So it's good to use in footsies because of the range on it. This is very good. It's very hard to crush counter because it's only 4 frames. Well, actually 6 if you consider the active frames colliding. But this is very good to do mid-range. Because this also goes back to the idea, if they jump at you, you will recover in time to anti-air them. Or Crouching Fierce, or you have more time. You have more free time available. If you're poking with crouching forward, standing forward, and they jump at you, you recover at a time which you might not be able to even anti-air them. So that Crouching Short's good there. I didn't catch how he got punished, but we'll move on anyways. So that's the manual timing problem. Myers did a Standing Short and whiffed. Maybe he meant to give him a visual cue and then he was going to throw him, but RB nonetheless jumps away with standing forward, or excuse me, jumps away with forward medium kick. There's that Standing Strong. That Standing Strong is now almost in a way being punished. It's like a soft punish. So he does Standing Strong. The recovery on it's good, but not good enough to respond to dive kicks from Cammy. So that's Myers' way of approaching. And I mean, I'm looking at this from a analytical perspective. It could have been as simple as Myers had meter, so he dive kicked. It could have been just that. Crouching Short counter hits, he gets no follow-up. You can actually, I think, Crouching Strong after Crouching Short counter hits. I could be wrong. Yep, you definitely can. And this is something I did not see RB do at all. And if he were watching this, I would highly recommend. This is really good to have. This Crouching Strong with the Standing Short and tackle. It's very important. Very important. So there's that Fireball buffer off the Crouching Strong. That's something I need to do more often. These Fireballs are good because he's throwing them at a range where it's difficult for Cammy to want to jump. And see, he recognizes the situation because, again, Myers is being very defensive. He might have saw in this moment, actually, that Myers has no meter. So he can throw these Fireballs. And for Myers to jump from here to here is very risky. And now he's pushed further back, and that gives him even more reason to throw Fireballs. He walks forward instead. So maybe he was anticipating Myers to catch on to this strategy to walk up towards a range that he could jump at him. So RB responds to this, possibly, with neutral jumps and being defensive himself. So wow, Myers counters this strategy with a dash up, anti-air back strong. That's very good. It's very smart. So he does. This is very safe play. I like it. Very safe and solid play on both ends. That was a good jump. That would have been very difficult to anti-air for Urien. This is precisely what I'm talking about. Urien whips a crouching forward. From this point, there's no way. This standing roundhouse here is the anti-air you would have had to use, or a crouching fierce. Crouching fierce I don't think would have worked. I think she was too high. He would have had to have used standing fierce. But as I mentioned earlier, it's very slow. It's not fast enough. It's like the direct opposite of Nakali's standing jab. You have to use it a little more intelligently. So at 11 frames, standing hard kick is 11 frame startup. So in order to have, I think it was not even an option at this point. He would have recovered too slowly from his crouching forward, and he would have gotten counter hit by Cammy. So he couldn't anti-air here. He actually couldn't anti-air unless he had armor, and then he could have tackled, maybe. But the point that I'm really trying to make is that he had no access to anti-airs because he did a crouching forward. And he did this crouching forward because of the playstyle of Myers. The defensive playstyle. Now maybe if he was whiffing crouching shorts, in that case, absolutely, he could have anti-aired with standing roundhouse. But then, you always have to think, is she going to dive kick? So it's hard. It's always hard to assess. Dacles? Thanks for the follow, man. Welcome to the live. Appreciate it. And is that Chicken Little? 88? Thanks. Appreciate it. Are there any practical combos into forward tackle so I can follow up with what? No, not really. You mean as if you space it so you can, like that? No. I don't recommend looking for that. You can sort of space it like mid-range behind a fireball. Let's say you have a super available, they don't have V reversal, this is great. But as far as comboing intentionally off of the standing forward, I think there were some combos like where you could stand fierce and then charge this. And I think it was a forward tackle, I don't remember. But those are one of those things that in the later stages, for optimization purposes, yes. But in the current stage of Urien, it's more important to optimize like the combos that matter. Hey, what's going on, Hudson? The combos that matter. So okay, again, he couldn't anti-air here. Perhaps he tried to challenge the jump in because it was a light attack. But Urien with a 4-frame normal and not being certain, like say that light attack hit very high. If it hit very high, then maybe he could have landed and be at a -1 state. It's very possible. But I would not have. I don't agree with him challenging that at all. But again, you're in a tournament, nerves, all that stuff. So that's interesting. After the second crouching strong, he does standing strong himself. After Cammy's second strong. So it actually does, it anti-airs him. And even though, wave attack. It anti-airs him. And he may not have been looking for that anti-air. But at that range where Cammy is at, from right here, it's very likely that she wants to continue pressuring you. So him jumping there was the exact idea he was looking for as he counter was staying strong. But again, I have to reiterate that it could be total Occam's razor. Simplest solution, he was just hitting strong because it's a good button. It's fast, has advantage. And it'll hit him at that spot. Nerf Urien, both Chun-Li, you saw RB. Yeah, Chun-Li players didn't have a good time this weekend, unfortunately. Kind of rough. Lud played very nervous. I wish he did better because he's a friend of mine. But it's rough. What's going on, Filipino man? Thanks for stopping by. So he anti-airs with the standing strong. He gets the reset. And he dashes up grab. Now in this situation, he may not have advantage. It's very likely he didn't have advantage after that standing strong. But preparation is what probably killed Myers here. He wasn't ready to be anti-aired in that moment on the way up from his jump. So RB recognizing that he got a reset, the dash up grab was the unobvious choice from him. So these strings here, So first of all, this is awful. This is more lack of knowledge. And I will demonstrate, and I'll show you the math. So RB dashes up after a grab. This is precisely, it's just like Laura. If Laura command grabs you, and then she dashes forward, I think she's -4, I don't recall correctly. But Urien is just the same. You shouldn't be able to dash at you. So Urien's throw is an 11 frame knockdown. See? 11 frames. Right here. Urien's dash forward is 16 frames. So if you subtract the total amount of frames from the dash to the time that they're on the ground, there's 5 frames. So he's -5. 16 minus 11 is 5. So he can't do it. The only reason he can actually get away with it is because he has other means. Crouching roundhouse is unsafe, but it is meaty in this situation. Standing fierce. That was weird. It should be normal. Standing fierce also works, but it whiffs. This whiff is to do nothing. So with that, on the back end, some players won't jab because they might get crush counter. Just the same as with Laura. But if you delay your jab, that sort of thing, but they shouldn't be able to dash up at you. So this isn't real, and he actually does standing. He dashes up with standing strong. So if you do the math there, 16 frame dash, 6 frame normal, 22, 11 frame knockdown. He was -11 at that state. It's crazy. So actually, he is doing the block strings that I recommended just a moment ago. Standing strong into crouching strong. It's good. Young Golrap, thanks for the follow, man. Welcome to the lab. I'm gonna take a drink. I'm glad y'all are here. Hope y'all are enjoying the learning stuff. Oh. So I think this is actually very negative, but I'm not sure if Myers can punish it from that range with even like Spiral Arrow. Crouching forward is probably too far away. So there you see RB getting a little bit more aggressive. Again, it goes back to the idea he's established his game plan, and then he changes it. He immediately moves forward. So if you're in this state of I'm throwing fireballs, maybe I should use my EX. Actually, I'm interested to see if he just gained a meter as RB started going forward. So right here, he doesn't have meter for the Spiral Arrow. I think after this block string, he should have it. So during that whole time that RB was throwing the fireballs, he could have. Actually, no, that one there, I don't know, because he was backdashing on the way. So he throws that one. He might have been out of range. So I think RB recognizes in this moment that Myers is now looking to EX Spiral Arrow his fireball, which may not have even been a good decision for him because EX Spiral Arrow doesn't net you a lot of damage. It would have created an opening, but it also gets rid of his opportunity to EX Cannon Spike. But he does have V-Trigger as well, so I think it would have been a good idea too. And maybe RB thought it was a good idea for him to do it as well because he dashes up to counter this strategy. It's dangerous to do this, but when you recognize that your opponent is in a different mind frame, they're looking for something, and you do the opposite of it, then you might be able to create an opening. Almost there. That's good. Standard Street Fighter V block strings. Jump in. Hit them with a button, jump in, try to throw them, jump in, punish their throw. Yeah, I'll give y'all a link to the playlist. And my voice is starting to commentators curse kind of thing. So again, Myers crushing fierce. He has V-trigger. He's probably trying to hit a standing forward from Urien, anything, any kind of activation to generate pressure because he doesn't want to lose this round. Because that's the whole point of fighting games. There's the headbutt. Now, if Myers was just a little bit more patient, he would have gotten that crouching fierce. He would have gotten the low forward that he wanted just by whiff punishing this. So just a little bit more patience. And this is exactly how Tokido beat RB and how Justin Wong eventually beat RB. Not on top of having the information to not get gimmicked out. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything in the chat. Why Urien is having a problem with Jay Wong's Karen? Counterintelligence. Because I told Jay Wong how to beat him. And Jay Wong's a god. He could have beat him without my help, but yeah. I told Justin what he was doing that was bad, and Excuse me. And Justin's really good, so there's that. Hey, quick question. Do you enjoy Street Fighter 5 more than Street Fighter 4? Yes. I've been through a lot of ups and downs with Street Fighter 5. In fact, just this week, I went to NOBC, and I didn't even get to play like all the people that were really good because I lost to the people that were still like kind of mashy. Not really mashy, but they were just like standard good, and I didn't beat them. But I played at first to 10 with Smug, and we went 9-10. I almost beat Smug in like a first to 10. So after that, I felt kind of motivated. I went home, and I won the first local tournament since the game released. And I won that. I was feeling good. I was like, yeah, I'm getting it. I'm back. I'm almost there. I'm finally at a point where I feel really confident. Urien's there. And then I played online. I was like, this game's a piece of shit. So there's a lot of ups and downs with this game. But I definitely like Street Fighter 5 more. Street Fighter 4, that's something we can talk about later. Let's finish this match. That was a tough game. Coming from an older tradition, classical style of playing fighting games, Street Fighter 4 was a hard. I don't know. Let's not go there. So there's that juggle off with the hard punch or the hard punch headbutt. And there is the crouching fierce Myers has been looking for. Did RB spark it up? Nah, man. I did that. It's almost like that graphic where you see somebody like, they're like, I made this. And I'm like, that's me. I made the Urien tech. I'm like, I made this. And the RB was like, huh, you made this. And then he won Red Bull Proving Grounds, or excuse me, Battlegrounds. He's like, I made this.
Number 1.
So whatever. It's all good. It's my fault. XVED L Shimmy 825. Welcome to the lab. I appreciate it. So this first round is taking quite a steady approach. Both players being very conscious of the other person, being very much slow play. And I'm not sure how he landed that super. I saw standing strong, but I'm not sure how he hit that. So this is the same thing. This is the exact same situation where he jumped. Whereas last time it was a jumping reset. This time, also, you know what this tells me is he 100%. He's at a range where this is whiffing, and he's going into tackle anyways. Actually, no, because for that reset, he would have got the tackle too. So maybe he saw a hit. I don't know. Maybe. Because if you tackle while they're in the air off of the standing strong, you will have disadvantage. So he could have gotten lucky. He could have also gotten lucky. He also inputted it, but still it didn't come out and that sort of thing. But regardless, at this range, he's still hitting that standing strong. After those 2 crouching strongs from Cammy. So that's interesting, because he doesn't have frame advantage. In fact, I think crouching strong is +2 from Cammy. Right? +2? Right here. +1. Okay, so yeah. Let's see, crouching forward is 9. Where is it at? Excuse me, 7. That's 7 and 1. So it does make sense. Okay, so what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at if Cammy does crouching strong and then she's out of range for anything else, so she wants to crouching forward. If Cammy does crouching strong, crouching forward, Urien does crouching standing strong, that means they'll trade with each other. What is the tech on the screen? You're looking at the frame data? It's tool assisted. Yes, the OK tool. So I would have to flip characters to demonstrate this. So for now, the point I want to make is this standing strong that RB is doing will counter Cammy's crouching forward if she were to do that. So it's actually pretty interesting. So in response, I'm not sure. Now Myers has to look at how he would whiff punish Urien standing strong, which is not easy to do because that's actually faster than his crouching mid punch. I think it's 20 total. 20. Yeah, I remember doing a frame kill with this, so 20. That's really fast. So 20 on this standing mid punch. Oh shit, I forgot to put the websites up. 20 on this standing mid punch is 8 frames slower than that crouching short. right? Because it's 12. So that gives you an idea. It's a really good move. I tell Urien players all the time, this button is really good. It's still there. No after party. Let's see, did I miss anything? What is this tech on the screen? Blah, 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 blah. Filipino man misses his backdashing, of course. So there's the super. Ugh. And RB takes the round. Man, backdashes. Not fun.
I'm number one.
Chicken shoosh. Is it like if you had a chicken library and the chicken librarian, you're clucking around too much, and the chicken is like, you can't shush as a chicken. They got beaks. They don't have lips. Shh. How do you shush? I never actually thought about the shushing mechanic. Shh. I think it's in the way that you I don't know. I don't know how it works. I just do it. I don't know how it works. I just do it, much like players in Street Fighter V. So anyways, here's these fireballs. So these are what I like to call Daigo / Damned Eye fireballs. Where you're obviously at a dangerous range. If they were to randomly jump at you here, you would get fucked. This is like, they don't even have to be looking for fireballs. They could just be jumping at you because people jump at you. But if you notice that they're playing footsies with you, if they're playing the mid-range and they're committed to that strategy, these fireballs this close are almost impossible to see. I mean, you can't jump fireballs on reaction anyways. At least I think Urien's you can. But as far as Ryu's light punch fireballs, you can't jump on them on reaction. It's a complete guess. But the closer you are to him, the more difficult it is to predict. So that's exactly what RB is doing here. He's being very confident in changing the strategy. This in turn makes Myers more likely to jump at him, and he overshot it a little bit. But maybe he intended for this background as to actually contact him. He just a little bit of a misstep in spatial recognition. Let's see if this punishes. Nope. just out of range. So there's a natural thing that people do in Street Fighter V. Is when they have a jump in, they don't know what happens. Mash the throw, right? Now, I'm not sure how he achieved that crush counter there, but let's take a look. Okay, here's the back roundhouse jump. Nothing. Oh, okay. So again, this is what I was talking about earlier. This is what's allowing... Well, maybe not. I thought he did the fierce off of the... What are those? I thought he did the fierce off of the throw knockdown. But instead, he did it with a little bit of hesitation. And you will be surprised how often, if you just slightly walk up to somebody and then pow! Wrong button. Hitbox. Pow! You will crush counter them just for them having their instinctive, I have to throw, I have to hit a button here. It happens all the time. A lot of times what happens, this is like my... This happens almost 100% of the time. So sometimes I hit standing fierce, it's too far away. I hit crouching strong. Because the first hit of the crouching fierce will whiff, just as you saw. And standing fierce, and crouching strong. I walk up to them a little bit, and then I crush counter them again because they're hitting a button. Happens all the time. I do that all the time. So we have the old bread and butter. I think I just missed a follower. Harder kaiju. I hope that's not something dirty. Harder kaiju, because I'm just saying letters on my phone, man. Okay, so he goes for the double meaty setup. So after you do the roundhouse tackle with Urien, you dash over the crouching short and forward strong, you will meaty both of the recoveries, normal and back. It's kind of hard to time. It works, I promise. It also depends on how you hit the tackle. Wow. Because if you hit the tackle too late, then they will recover faster. There we go. So I don't like using this setup because people mash DP. And also because you have to go from a crouching state to a holding forward state. So what often happens is you get crouching short and then strong fireball. So it's hard. It takes practice. But if they back recover, the torch strong will also hit them. So it does have a lot of value in that they can't hit a button as they're getting up. So that's here. And it's even harder, in my opinion. It's much harder to see if the opponent normal or back recovers when they're in the corner. It's much harder for me to visually identify it. So actually, in this situation, it's very, very smart to do this. This is extremely intelligent. The reason why is because they're close to stun. So all it takes is that one hit. Oh, okay. So he does his V skill out of habit. This is actually not good. This is not a good time, in my opinion, to use this, because when you V skill with Urien, you don't gain cross assault meter with your special move. You don't gain both. You get V trigger or cross assault. If you have V skill active, you'll get V bar. Otherwise, you get cross assault meter just as you normally would. So right here, he's so far ahead in the match. I'm not sure, and I'm not sure if it's a good idea to even bother. I think having this is more valuable, but either way, it's a minute critique. Either way is fine, because he could just as much get really behind this match, and now he'll have access to Aegis earlier. Cross assault. Did I say cross assault? Critical art. So actually, he does the EX headbutt, and this gives him more bar. Maybe. I think EX tackle would give you more here. Oh, he did. That was a dirty reset. Now, this is what's very interesting about RB's play, is he knows when to use the unfamiliar resets that people don't know what's coming next. They don't know what's coming next, and they don't even know what to do about it in the first place. I said it twice. So yeah, with that headbutt there, he probably does have advantage, but it's even possible. So let's say this torch strong and headbutt, and it does look like he has advantage. For sure he does. Let's say that didn't have frame advantage as Cammy was landing. It still probably would have worked, because Myers just he has no idea. He doesn't know what's going on. Man, that was 3 combo, so yeah. Unfamiliarity. Look at the smug look on this young gentleman. He was like, yeah, I come to America and I body everybody with automatics tech. Good game. Oh, Myers. Oh, the face. Oh, that's tough. That setup actually only works with EX headbutt after your reskill. Okay. Once again, thanks everybody for tuning in. It was kind of an impromptu thing. I said I was going to do it after the tournament ended, but I didn't expect this big of an audience. But welcome. I hope you learned something. I'm going to take a quick break, and we're going to go over Tokido's matches after this. Or RB versus Tokido. Is there a crouching short to forward strong setup from a grab? No, it's only that tackle situation. I think it's hard to tell because the Oki calculator, it doesn't give you the knockdown for juggles. So for example, this situation here, I had to calculate myself if I was safe or not. But like say EX tackle, or excuse me, EX headbutt. Say that's equal to the same knockdown frames as this situation. But I don't know what total knockdown frames on that. I don't know. But if it is, then you can apply the same crouching short to short strong. But the idea is that you're not using crouching short for anything other than a frame kill. So that can be replaced with anything. I think there's a setup off of tackle. If you torch strong twice, that will melee both of their recoveries. So it's the idea of setting up torch strong to hit them in that situation. And I think it's because torch strong has 4 active frames, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Yep. 4 active frames. Bada bing, bada boom. Why does that walk up crouching fierce CC? Excuse me. Walk up standing fierce CC. Aren't they mostly mashing jabs? Because it gives them a reaction. It's like it makes them hesitate. if they weren't hesitating, if they were mashing, it wouldn't work. If they were mashing without, if they were blindly, like, I don't know what's going on, I'm just hitting a button, then it wouldn't work. But it's the idea of I'm threatening you with something here that makes them like, oh, I gotta bring a throw, or like, oh, I should now mash. I should mash later, and that's by the time that happens, it's too late. So it causes hesitation. That's the most important part. But all right, I'm gonna take a quick break. Can we get some water? You know, that's about it. Let me get some water. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.